All right. Can anybody see me? Am I alive right now? So, welcome to my first live, guys. I am a wee bit late. As usual in my life, I am always the late one to everything. My wife usually keeps me on point about all that stuff. But I was at work. We had some issues pop up. We ended up being super late. I mean, I literally walked out the door and barely made it here for this. So, excuse me if I'm all disheveled and trying to get myself together here because I really am. That's real life. I had to crack an adult beverage. That's the kind of day it was. Am I allowed to show that? That's probably like an ad or something? Probably gonna get banned now. Ugh. So look, I got a bunch of mods in here. You guys are awesome. Thank you for doing that. I think I got everybody who said they would do it for me. I am not gonna get drunk, Chickenlandia. Definitely not. It's only one, and it's it's not even that strong. I just grabbed cider. It's just I wanted something light and crisp. It's like 60 degrees where I'm at right now. Like it's almost summer to me. I was practically gonna wear shorts, but I feel like this light is super blinding. Nope. Need that light. So I don't know Nins, but I'm actually out of town right now. So yeah, it was pretty warm. I just wanted to poke my head out all day long, but we had too busy of a day to be hanging out outside. I didn't know you guys were in Oregon, Butcher Baker. I feel like that's too long to call you guys. Can I call you BBQM? BBQM? She moved mountains. Hey, how you doing? Representing the Minnesota. You guys got a bunch of snow, I bet, today. Jazz, you made it. It's got to be like 2 a.m. over there or something, isn't it? That's I can't believe you're up still. You must be a night owl. All right. So I want to tell you guys a funny story. A lot of channels in here. So if you guys ever go live, you need to be prepared because I was trying to set this thing up and I'm like 1 a.m. So I was trying to set this up, right? Because I always see other channels and they post it in the morning. And they're like, oh, check us out. We'll be live tonight. And I'm like, oh, cool. I'll make that. I get up super early in the morning. Well, because I had to be up, but I got up early and I go on here and I'm like, oh, I'll set it up. I was kind of doing my morning routine. I came sat over here and I started trying to figure out how to set it up, a live stream and all that. I was getting there and I kind of got it all set up a little bit. And, you go to save and I hit save. And then it's like, here's the thumbnail. And it just takes a picture. Like you get 3 seconds and it takes a picture. And at first I was completely caught off guard. And I had literally gotten out of the shower, half dressed. So I got pants on and I'm sitting here with no shirt on. And then it takes a picture of me and I'm like, holy cow, nobody needs to see that. So, and then I'm like, holy cow, why don't they warn you that that's going to happen or something? They just, you go to do it. And it's here's 3 seconds, prepare yourself. So, so yeah, I had to then find out how to redo the picture. But I did. It wasn't that bad to find. And then I had to, get all ready and stage a picture because nobody wants to see me sitting here with no shirt on. I have a good belly laugh. I don't know if you guys have seen my belly or not, but there's a lot of good laughter in there. I store it all up. So, I think you've got a bunch of people in here. I am shocked. 30 of you. That's quite a bit. So, who wants to talk about my addiction? I need an intervention, I think. And this is just a handful. I actually have more coming. And I have another order, and then I have a few others. I got some from, oh, I gotta hold it up here more. Wholesome Roots. You guys seen the box of blessings when I got the box of blessings from Papa Pepper? She had some tomatoes in there that I had never heard of before, so I definitely had to grab some. This one is called a Black Tula, and I'm not sure if that's a cherry tomato or a full tomato, or maybe it's a paste type tomato. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, sorry. How do you say it? Tomatoes. I got tomato seeds. And then I got this indigo apple. Oh, that just sounds good. So I am super pumped about these two. And then I have like another stack of seeds from M.I. Gardner mostly. He's got a lot of good tomatoes. My Baker Creek tomato seeds have not come. Actually, I'm not getting them from Baker Creek. I'm actually buying them straight from Wild Boar Farms. And many of you who watch Roots and Refuge know that she is a huge advocate of him over there. My permaculture garden. I'm glad I made you laugh. That's what I aim for. So, what are your guys' favorite tomato? Like, what is the one tomato you always grow no matter what? I got like one that I really, really love, and it's this pineapple tomato. You guys see that thing right there? I don't know what it is about this tomato, but it's my favorite. I can't have a year where I don't grow this or the other one that's kind of like the same as this Great White. Now this one's got more color to it, but the Great White to me tastes a lot alike, and it's got like a tropical type flavor to it. Yeah, you got to have a beefsteak. I mean, they're pretty good. I don't have a Cherokee Purple yet, but I think I'm going to get some. And UT is in here. That's perfect timing, buddy. So, make sure your address not on there. So UT sent me a bunch of seeds, guys. So if you guys have ever seen UT's channel, they grow a lot of stuff. I believe they're doing it in a pretty small area also, which is pretty sweet. But he saved some seeds, and UT, I feel you on giving people seeds and like being worried about the viability of the seeds, because I am not a huge seed saver myself, very amateurish at it. The only thing I have that I save that I really, really know about, that I'm like confident in, is my asparagus seeds, because I've been saving those for 3 or 4 years now, and I've started 5 different patches of asparagus with those seeds, and they've all been fine and worked out. Almost 40 people. Wow, that's pretty good. I'm pretty happy about that. But yeah, UT, was it 33-200? He sent me some tomatoes that sounded good too. A manga orange tomato. You guys ever heard of that one? What do we got here? The carbon tomato. And I meant to look these up. I just haven't had time. I picked this up actually on my way out of town. Lucid gem tomato. This Wagner blue-green tomato, which blue-green just sounds awesome. And then we got a garden peach tomato. So I am super pumped, UT, about these tomato varieties that you sent me. And I'm like you, I do open pollination. I don't really like plant things over to different areas. And hey, Humphrey Family Homestead's in here. I like that guy. I think him and I married sisters. They all like that. They like the weird, videos and stuff about people with way too much weight getting surgeries and all sorts of weird stuff. That's some new people. Wow, a lot of people jumping in. Tiny Tim's, that's a good one. You got to have a cherry tomato out in the garden. Hey, Rockin' C, how's it going, man? Hey, Square One Farms is in here. All right. All right, so that is, I put a bunch of tomatoes. I do a lot of tomato plants. Last year, our garden was actually a lot less than what we normally do. Hey, Two Family. And they're everywhere all the time. So I do a lot of tomatoes. Last year was an off year in our garden. We didn't really grow a ton and produce as much as we normally do. Uh, we had a new baby over the summer. We had a lot of stuff going on leading up to the baby being born. And I don't really use anything Sunshine Farms for my tomatoes. I am a believer in just composting in my soil. I might put some Epsom salt around them, maybe break up some eggshells and put them around the base of the tomatoes. But I don't really do a whole lot with a lot of the stuff in my garden. I plant it in the ground, and I've been working on my soil for a few years now. So, I have a compost pile. I compost. I add some new soil once in a while. When I built the raised beds, I had to bring in a lot of new soil. And I've never really done anything. I don't do any kind of fertilizers or anything like that. I just plant things in the ground and I let them do their thing. I don't even really stake them or any of that kind of stuff. Well, I put the cage up once in a while, uh, something to put the main branch on, really, but I don't do a lot of pruning or anything like that. But I plant enough that we get enough for our family, I guess. I think mostly that's how I do it is I plant so many tomatoes that we don't have to worry about if they produce a ton or not because we just have so many tomato plants that we actually just get a lot of tomatoes. So, I mean, tomato soup, same with like when we can stuff. So when we can tomatoes, we don't add a lot of flavors or anything to them. Yeah, I use the eggshell for the calcium to do the end rest. So I just go out there and I break it up. And when I plant them, I might break some up inside of there. And I use them a lot in the compost pile. So the eggshells are all over the It's really hard to keep up on this chat and talk. How do you guys do this? Yeah. So mostly it's just compost. I have that big compost pile I've been working on. 80 pounds. That's a lot. So like I was saying, yeah, like tomatoes, if you get a good enough tomato, hey, Runner Creek's in here. That guy's like right down the street from us. How you doing, guys? So yeah, I just plant a bunch of them, and that's it. That's all. That's all I do. I hope that they turn out good. Hold on, I gotta catch up on this for a second. Hidden Heights Farm. I actually, this is left over from. Actually, no, I think this might be a new one. These yellow pear tomatoes. We grew these a couple years ago. We didn't do it last year, but a couple years ago we grew those, and they really, really pumped out a lot of tomatoes for us, and they were good just fresh off the vine. And we put them in salads and stuff. And yeah, we ate a lot of those yellow pear tomatoes. I think we only planted 4 of them, and we had a lot of those. So yeah, when we go to can our tomatoes, like we make tomato soup because that's something the kids like. So we make a lot of tomato soup, and when we can our tomato soup, we literally just cook the tomatoes. We don't add anything to them. Just straight up boil them up, into a soup, and then we put them into the jars and can them. And the kids love them that way, and they actually eat them. Oh yeah, Sun Gold, Sunshine Farms. So we grew those last year, and my daughter has not. Yeah, the kids and my wife help a ton out in the garden. The wife does a lot of the canning stuff. I do more of the growing and gardening stuff. But yeah, the kids definitely get out there a lot. And so I have this video of a couple years ago. So Mr. Man, you guys all know Mr. Man. He's the 2-year-old, the middle child. When he was like barely toddling out there, could barely walk, he would come out in the garden and work with me. And every time we went outside, he would walk over to the tomatoes and he would just sit down in front of a cherry tomato plant and just eat tomatoes just the whole time he was out there. I have like a bunch of pictures of him when he was really little, just like tomatoes dripping down his chin and down his shirt. And yeah, he was really into tomatoes. The funny thing is, this past summer, I guess it was last year's garden, he did not like tomatoes at all. He wouldn't eat any of them. And my daughter's always kind of been like not a tomato eater, but last year when we grew the sun golds, she was totally into them. She ate a few of them and she really liked them. Yeah, Mr. Man is pretty cute. He's got those big eyes like my wife. What do they call them? Doe eyes. Mr. Man is not a nod to the Blues Brothers, but I do love the Blues Brothers. I'm not, I don't know why I call him Mr. Man. I kind of have for a long time. He was the little man in the house, you know, so he was Mr. Man. Now that he's got a little brother, I don't know. If I got to get a new nickname for him or not. I'm not sure how that works. Another thing that we made with tomato stuff was awesome. Now she put a lot of spices and stuff in with that, but yeah, call everyone Mr. Man. No, there's only one Mr. Man. He's 2 years old and he lives in my house. Knock it off. I'm gonna try to catch up on some comments here for a second. See if I miss any good questions. Yeah, I'm really bad at reading this while talking to you guys. How do you guys keep up with that kind of stuff? Oh, you have Rue keep up with your chat. I see. I see. Child labor laws must be much different over across the pond. 30 tomato varieties? Yeah. That's what I would do. I just want to plant a ton of tomatoes. Runner Creek, I do need my sidekick. I am actually in a hotel tonight. I'm out of town, so I say tomato like you say alpaca poop. Oh, great. Oh, Twin Cedar Farms. All right. First breeding date. All right. Good luck with that. Go goats. See, I have not saved any of my own tomato seeds to wild onions. Well, I guess that's not true. We did save some of our cherry tomatoes that we grew last year or 2 years ago. And the thing was, I saved them and I planted the seeds this year or this past summer, and we did not like them. They turned out terrible. They did not taste good for some reason. Like we talked about it before in one of our other videos, but I guess you could say they were like a sweet flavor and they didn't really have like a lot of the acidic flavor of a tomato. So it could have been because we did not cover them because I wasn't really intending on saving tomato seeds because I don't I don't do anything to like prevent them from cross pollinating. My garden's pretty small. You know, you got most of you know I'm on a half an acre. So my garden lot is still pretty small. I've been expanding it every year. So it's excuse me. So it's hard to plant them like far apart and like, you know, divide them so they don't cross pollinate. So that could have been why they didn't taste very good. But yeah, we were very disappointed. They were like a Roma tomato and they they weren't good. And I was very, very bummed about that because I just love tomatoes so much. How big is your lot? Mine is 100 by 100, and I have a hard time planting. Yes, I have a small lot also, and I built a strawberry bed last year, and I just put baby strawberry runners in it, and that actually got full of tomato plants because I was looking for places to plant them, and I was like, hey, those strawberries are tiny, and they're not going to produce, so I just filled it with tomatoes in that same area, and I grew a couple like along my back fence, way out in the back of the yard, and yeah, I would plant tomatoes all over my yard if I could. I would have maybe just all tomatoes. Rattlesnake beans. That sounds pretty cool. Two family homesteads going to have some rattlesnake beans at the gathering. So if you guys are going to that, get some rattlesnake bean seeds. Yeah, they could have cross-pollinated. I'm not sure what happened. I did not like them though. I was very bummed about it. And like every time we go get some to eat them, we'd be like, "Oh, these are just terrible." So I might like some. I'm always up for. I'm really running out of room this year, guys. I said I do have a bunch of garden space planned that I want to expand, and a lot of that is just gonna depend on my work schedule mostly. We've had a really slow beginning of the year as far as work is, and it's kind of still slow looking for a little while. And if it picks up, my guess is it's gonna pick up right around the time to be out there starting the gardens. And then I'll probably be working 7 days a week, 12-hour days, and it makes all the gardening very hard. So we will see. Dancing duck video. Oh, that sounds funny. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. If I get the garden expanded, how far I want to, I can plant more stuff. How do I manage YouTube, garden, and a full-time job while also being a rock star dad? Uh, it's super hard. I'm exhausted some days. I literally fall asleep at like 9:30. Sometimes my wife suffers because I fall asleep early and she doesn't get as much time as other things. And doing the garden stuff and YouTube, involving the kids with it, really makes it so I can spend that time with them and we can do things together. So I like, especially she's older, so I really like to get her involved with it and things that we're doing out in the garden. So like this year, she's going to have her own area, to plant stuff. And she's just always been out there. So I'm like a morning person. Hey, Morgan. Hey, Morgan and Morgan. Both Morgans are in here. So I'm a morning person, really. I get up early. I get up at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So like when most people edit at night, I'm doing like bath time for the kids and all that. So I edit in the morning and I do ideals and all that, like all in the morning. And in the summertime, I get outside before the kids wake up. So if I'm outside working before the kids wake up, I can get maybe an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours out in the garden sometimes before anybody else wakes up in the house. And I get a lot of stuff done that way. And then when they get up, I go in, we'll get breakfast and all that, and then we'll come back out and, then we'll get some work done together, which is always slower when you have kids. A lot of you, I don't know how many of you all have kids in here, but if you have kids and you're trying to garden or homestead and you have chores, but you want to teach them and get them involved, it always takes a while. So you got to add extra time for. So sometimes I like to get up in the morning and get out there and hammer away at a project I want to get done before anybody wakes up. And that helps, with my time management and all that. But it is not easy. And there are times I talked the other day about like being in a funk a little bit about YouTube, and it was just I had to take back a little bit of time, to take a break from everything because I had been doing so much so fast. Yeah, it does take the longest with the kiddos, but I mean they like it. You get your kids out there, sleep upside down like a bat. I feel like that, UT. Sometimes I don't sleep very much at all. I got like this Fitbit. You guys have one of those Fitbit things. It's like fun because you can see, oh, I walked all over the place, and then I look at it, and it's like you slept 3 hours, and I'm like, oh, sweet. Let me leave in here. Let's see. Yeah, it definitely takes a while, but it's worth it. Like, we're gonna do a video about that grape TP that we made, and something cool was like helped make that when we did it. So I had her out there, and she was don't judge me. She was 6 years old, and I gave her the hatchet, and I showed her how to use the hatchet, how to chop that, and she chopped a bunch of those cross beams that you see on our grape TP by herself with the little hatchet. So kids are pretty impressive because if you teach them some stuff and how to stop it, Chicklandia. I'm judging you. You didn't have a flag at the chicken festival. How can the president not bring their flag to the chicken festival. So yeah, if you get the kids out there and you get them involved, they want to be involved, and that's really cool. And I enjoy seeing it. Like I think one thing she hates is the saw. She does not like the saw, so she won't do anything with the saw. But a lot of other stuff she will do, and she'll get out there and just help me. And if I'm like, hey, I want to do this or that, you got to trade it sometimes. Like you get them to come out and help you do something, and then you have to give them some time to do whatever they want to do. And she's my oldest, so I've been gardening with her the most and the longest. And we might plant some stuff out in the garden, turn some dirt, and all that stuff, and then we do that for an hour, and then we come inside and do what she wants to do, or we'll stay outside and do what she wants to do, depending on how the weather is. We get a lot of mosquitoes. Some days it's hard to be outside for a long time. I feel like I pose a greater risk than most children. I don't read directions either. Directions are for suckers. Oh, Green Dream's in here. Hey, Jim. I feel like Jim's my brother. Like we're a lot of personality likes there. Yeah, Humphrey. Yes, some days they definitely don't want to be out there at all. Yeah, some days you get it right. They don't want to be out there, and you still want to get stuff done. So it's like it makes it really hard. But sometimes you just got to find other things. So I built like a swing set, or not a swing set, but like I built a swing out there, for them, so they would have something to do. And we built like a little platform thing that has a slide on it, and they got a little one of those looking eye things, when you're looking for treasure on a ship. So we do that. I have that out there for them so that they can do something other than that, but still be outside while I'm out there. And I built a chalkboard. Like it's got wheels on it, so I can wheel it around the yard or the driveway or whatever. And it's just a big chalkboard. It's 4 foot by 8 foot long chalkboard on both sides of it. And I wheel that out with some chalk, and that'll keep them busy for quite a while if they're getting antsy about being outside. I had a bunch of footage that I never edited from the summer, but like water gun fights and balloon fights were like a huge thing that we would do in the summer to kind of break up the day. And they loved that. And the little pool, we had a little pool that we put out there for them. Stever's homestead. What's my next project? I don't know. The next project is really expanding my garden to this other space that I have, and trying to decide what to do with this old peach tree that we had. When we bought our property, one of the first things we did was plant a peach tree and a pear tree. We went and saw it, and I'm pretty sure I said quail, Chickenlandia. You're already the president of Chickenlandia. I got to be the president somewhere else. Quaillandia needs a president. So, but the garden expanded is probably what I'm going to do. I really want to do another little greenhouse too, but I'm not sure if that's going to happen this year or not. It's just up in arms. I kind of going to do things at the whim, right? So, like, I was mentioning the peach tree. So we bought a peach and a pear tree, and we planted them in the yard. And the peach tree is not doing that great anymore. It's kind of dying a little bit. I don't spray, and the peaches need a lot of work. So like for me and my schedule and what I want to do, the peach tree doesn't really fit into my style of gardening or anything. Like I do a lot of that back to Eden stuff. I want to do less work in the garden, and peach trees require a lot of work. You got to spray them 4 times a year to really get like a good harvest on them. So I'm debating whether or not to cut that down and just expand my garden out past where it was, or just go up to it and then decide what to do with it. Yeah, I'm not sure. Chief equivalent. So, oh yeah, you bought 2 Peachtree Sunshine Farms. Good luck. I have another peach tree that I bought originally because it was tagged a pear tree, This was bare root, and then I planted it, and last year it got a peach on it, and I was like pulling my hair out because I'm like, not another peach tree. So they were labeled fruit tree. Yeah, a few apples on two of them. Still don't include the other ones are. Yeah, I just the peach trees. I love peaches. Peaches are one of my favorite fruits, but the work that goes into the peach tree and upkeep of it, not my cup of tea. Squirrels don't love them. Yeah. The peach that I have is of the Red Haven. Both actually both well, I believe both of the ones I have are Red Haven. They are the identical. The one that was it was marked a pear tree. It was supposed to be a Bartlett pear tree, and then when it started leafing out and put fruit out, it was obvious that it was a peach tree. Yeah, the peach trees are just not my ideal. Mulberries, now that is something I love. We have 3 mulberry trees, and that's my favorite. I absolutely love mulberries. The so like the mulberries are actually on the other side of our fence, but they arc right over into our yard. So we get all the fruit off of them, and they just get like the trunk. so and so we get a lot of ice and snowstorms, right? And we had this part of our fence line that was all trees, just and it was not good trees. It was the box elder trees, and they just grow a ton of stems and all that. And they're crazy. And DTE actually came through and cut all of those down and was mulching them, for free. So we got a lot of mulch and stuff from that, and just firewood from that. But they cut them all down, and along that fence line was also this great big old mulberry tree. And we had been picking a lot of mulberries off of that tree for a long time. And I was actually building the kids a fort under that mulberry tree to where they would have a walkout porch up on top of it so that they could go out there and pick mulberries off this thing. Well, I told the guys, don't touch my mulberry tree. I want my mulberry tree. And I came home from work the next day, and my mulberry tree was completely gone. So we used to have 4, and now we're down to 3 mulberry trees. But I'm so bummed because that other one was just this great big, strawberry or mulberry tree. Sorry, things beeping at me everywhere. But we did find a mulberry tree around the corner from our property. And hey, almost homestead. How you guys doing? Snowed in up there, I'm sure. So yeah, we found a great big old mulberry tree right around the corner from us, sitting on this like empty lot. So we went and picked some of those last year. I got one of those fruit scoops, I'm just out there. Pop, pop, pop. We make a lot of fruit leather with those mulberries. The kids love that. I made mulberry jam. That's like one of my favorite jams. Man, it's really hard to keep up over here. I am, I guess, sort of in southern Michigan. Hold on. You can't say where you live in Michigan without doing this little thing. I live right about here. We live in like the base of the thumb. What is Pearl Jam? The band? So zone wise, we're in like this really weird zone. We Runner Creek's probably the same way. He our zone is like this little pocket, and then like around us is like a different zone, and then it's like normal around that. We just have like a really weird. We're almost 5B, but like 6A, and then the rest of the area is 6B. I don't know why. I don't know what it is about that little spot, but we just have like a little warm patch right where we are, and we're like in that. It's like a half a zone. It's not. It's not that much more. I bet it's like ours. Yeah, it's probably very similar to you guys, Sunshine Farm. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, we're like pretty much the same thing. Yeah, the lake does a lot of weird stuff. Just being around all those lakes, they really give you a ton of different zones like within your state. And I think our state ranges from down close to the bottom there. You're probably in almost zone 7 areas in certain spots, and then you go up north more, and you're you're in those zones you don't want to be in if you're a gardener. Yeah, I think I've told the story before, but I was in a uh, Buffalo, New York for work once time, and this was just a few years ago. And the plant's like right off of the lake that we were at in Buffalo there, and wall came across that lake one day, and it was 7 feet of snow in one day that Buffalo, New York got. And where I was staying was actually Williamsville, which was a little further north because that was like the hotel of my choice was up there. And I had like 6 inches of snow up there, and I drove 10 minutes south of where I was, and they were 7 feet of snow. And that snow was there in June. They like in the parking lot of the plant, they had plowed of June before it was all the way melted. Like it was crazy. What do you have against Zone 4? I don't have anything against Zone 4A, but I would like a little bit longer growing season. Yeah, Buffalo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Buffalo's terrible. Every time I've been there, it's been nothing but bad. In the winter, if I get a project in the winter in Buffalo, I'm always very disappointed. So let's see. We got any other good questions in here? So we're totally away from tomatoes now. I've never done a live. Do you stay on topic the whole time, or you just talk? Oh, I didn't know you were in New York. Pharmacy Seeds. Yeah, I would never go to Buffalo. That's a place that I would definitely check off of my Sunshine Farms. Are you guys close to Buffalo? An hour, really? My favorite way to eat tomatoes, you just go and they're right in my mouth. I don't even. How many slicers did I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you count the ones I have on the way still that I don't have with me yet. I every season in one day. I've yet to see that Stevers. It's only been a few days though, but yeah, in Michigan we get it where it might be like 80 degrees and snowing. A bunch of these M.I. Gardner tomato seeds. All right, see you later, Grateful Nights. The best tomato is a stolen one. That's pretty funny. Oh, no way. Really? Almost Homestead? I do follow him. I hadn't seen any videos in a while. I was kind of wondering what happened to him. I'll have to go over there. Yeah, we've chatted a couple times because I was close to him one time on a work project not too long ago. Last year, end of last year. It's happening next week. I'm not sure yet. I think our schedule is going to be a little bit crazy next week. Going into the weekend, we'll probably slow back down a little bit. So let's talk about some of these tomatoes that I got. I got this vintage wine tomato. Have you guys seen this thing yet? I got Aunt Ruby's German green tomato. Now, this I'm pretty interested in because I really like fried green tomatoes. And I'm assuming this thing stays green most of the time. So, like, that'd be pretty cool if you could just have fried green tomatoes all the time and not have to rob your, normal red tomatoes. I had to buy this one because it has a name that you just can't ignore. Can you guys even see it? Hillbilly tomato. I'm kind of a hillbilly. So they call us up north in Michigan. We're all a bunch of hillbillies. So I had to get a hillbilly tomato. All right, Chickenlandia, we'll see ya. I got the great white tomato, of course. That's one of my favorites, and the pineapple. And then I got some ones I never really grew. I don't even know how you say it. It's Opalaka tomato. This looks like a Roma type tomato. I haven't. Like I said, I'm soured on the Roma tomatoes after my last year's experience with them. So hopefully they're not that bad. Tomatillos is a yes. We definitely do tomatillos. Or tomatillos, however you say it. We do those. We make salsa verde. It's like something we stock our shelf with like crazy. Salsa verde is one of our favorites that we get. I got these yellow pear tomatoes that I'm going to grow. I'm going to grow those just because they're so prolific. They put out so many tomatoes. There's still time. There's still time. I got the pineapple tomatillo right here. So I don't know about that one. We normally get just the green one because we make that salsa verde. Tomatillo. Many of you know, if you watch videos, that I cannot say a lot of words. So that's just another one to add to the list. And then Tiny Tim tomato. Yeah, I got some of those too. I normally do like those the 100s, but I want to try some different cherry tomatoes. And I was looking at something like the atomic grape tomato. Thinking about doing that. And I'm trying to think what are a couple of the other ones. I know I pull up my cart, but I'm afraid I would mess everything up on this the live stream. But I have some a bunch of other stuff that I am ordering, so more varieties are coming, and I have to decide what's going to go in the ground and what's not going to go in the ground, and what's going to wait till next year. Although my parents do have all that property over there, so we could always plant stuff over there. I just don't know how well it would do. See, good thing we're having this chat about tomatoes. Now you guys can all hop on to your favorite tomato buying website after this and get you some new seed. Yeah, the yellow pear. Okay, so the tomatillo, the tomatillo, we grew it. We've been growing that for like 4 years now, and it is absolutely the number one weed in my garden. I of them, and we get so many of them that it's hard to keep up with them. And when you just let things kind of fall over and compost back into the ground, like I do, because I don't like pulling everything out all the time. I kind of want some of that to go back into the ground and work itself in. But the tomatillo is all over my yard, my garden area especially, but it's like in the yard. Like you can walk out in the middle of the yard and see them popping up just in the grass everywhere. They are absolutely crazy in our yard now. I pull them out. I pull them out, and I might transplant a few if they're really big, but normally I just pull them and get rid of them because I can't. It's crazy. I took a whole bunch of my brother so he could have his own patch, and I was giving them to him, and I was laughing. I was like, "Ha ha ha! Here you go!" Like with this, you want a tomato that you don't have to worry about doing any work with. Just plant one of those somewhere, and I'm sure you will not have a problem getting more of them the next year. Heirloom permaculture. Hey, how you guys doing? You guys got one of the best beards in the business right there. I I can't tell half the time. It looks a lot like I'm wearing a scarf because I got this Amish looking beard. I'm always jealous when I see guys with the really good ones. So what else you guys want to talk about? What else about tomatoes do you want to talk? Like currant cherry tomatoes? White currant cherry tomato. That sounds pretty good. Dude, what kind of flavor do those have? Cardboard, yeah, I do a lot of cardboard in my garden. It's still people plant themselves in those the wood chips that I put over top. You're talking about the wild strawberries or like normal strawberries? Because we have a bunch of wild strawberries that grow, and I like to eat them. So do my kids. We put them in salads and stuff, and we eat them. I don't single stem my tomatoes. I am. Tomato is a fruit. Absolutely. I made a mistake of saying it was a vegetable in a garden in a video a little while ago, and I had a good amount of comments about it being a fruit. Ground cherries. Now, are ground cherries the same thing as tomatoes? Do I not know this? I don't know anything about ground tomato. Broussard Homestead. Your wife has something she wants to share with you? Tomato spotted wilt and tobacco. Yeah, we don't have those kind of problems up here. You know what? So something I don't have a big problem with when it comes to tomatoes that a lot of people do is the tomato hornworm. I've never had a hornworm on any of my tomatoes in like the 8 years we've had a garden. We've never had a hornworm, which is weird, I guess. I thought you would get them. I don't know what I do, but I never ever have the hornworm. All right, almost homestead. So you haven't either. It must maybe it's the cold. Maybe they don't like it up north. There's some advantages to living where it's cold when the wind hurts your face. See, up in New York. So see, maybe there is something. Yeah, I bet your chickens do love them. Those things are huge from all the pictures I see. The pictures I see of them are like crazy. Maine gets them. That's really weird. UT's never had a problem. Look at this. Nobody's ever had a problem with them. So basil around the tomatoes, and does that help with the hornworms? Is it supposed to? Okay, Wasteland Acres. I didn't know you're in Michigan. That's pretty cool. Are you close to me? Are you in the thumb? And you get them, huh? How come I don't? I wonder why we don't get them. Maybe it's just something about our little area, or something with the garden, the way I set the garden up that I don't know about. I don't know. Flea beetles. I don't plant a ton of brassicas just because of space, so I don't know. Oh, you're in Clio. Yeah, you're real close to me. Yeah, I grow a lot of basil in my garden too, so maybe I'll plant. I mean, I do plant it by my tomatoes actually, only because I put basil everywhere. I have a lot of different basil. All right, Green Dreams, GDP. We'll see you later. Yeah, I wonder if that has anything to do with it that I plant basil pretty much all around where my tomatoes are. I usually plant them pretty close to each other, and I grow a lot of basil because we eat basil like crazy. I don't think basil is hard to grow. Maintaining sometimes you have to go out there and pitch those the flowers if you want to keep getting the leaves. But bees love basil; they're super good to have. Yeah, my herbs are kind of over. I have a herb garden, and then I have like the main garden. But I do plant a lot of stuff, herbs inside the main garden also. So I have a bunch of little raised beds, and I normally plant whatever I plant in there. I'll plant one herb with it, somewhere just to kind of mix them into the garden because they're good for a lot of different pests. And It's just good to have the smell over in the garden when you rub up against stuff. Yeah, scented herbs are great. Four different basil. Are you growing Thai basil? That's like one of my favorites. Chewing tobacco soaked in water is a pesticide. It's interesting. I don't think we can really grow tobacco up here. I don't know. I think that's a longer season thing, isn't it? My wife did buy me this fish emulsion stuff that I'm supposed to mix with water, but I think that's like a fertilizer. I gotta try that this year. I've never done that. All right, my permaculture garden. We'll see you later. How long has it been? God, it's been 50 minutes already. I thank all of you kindly for staying that long and hanging out with me. Do you use Thai basil any differently than Italian? Uh, no, it's just got a little more like spice to it. But I put it like on a spaghetti or a soup or something like that. It's just got a little more spice, in my opinion. I'm not saying that I'm right or not, but seems like I just started. Does it? Congrats to you that you can put up with me for this long. It does, Broussard, that's for sure. Oh, really, heirloom permaculture? I guess we don't get that many hot days, so maybe I won't have that thing of it. PJ Nano Farm, I'm still here. I really don't have anything better to do until it's time to sleep. So however you guys want to hang out, I'm down. Let's do it. I got another one of these too in the fridge waiting for me. Yeah, I don't like chemicals. I don't do any kind of like I did like in the beginning, but I wasn't like adamant about it or anything. So like I might go out there and put a couple things in the ground, spray a little bit, but yeah, I don't really use any kind of chemicals, pesticides. Um, I don't. I don't do any of that. I don't really like it. Obviously, there's benefits to it. I guess if you look at just a straight up pest control thing, but I don't want to be eating that kind of stuff myself. Hey, Elkin Anchor, how you guys doing? So yeah, I don't spray anything in my garden at all, really. Like I said, when I had those peach trees, and I found out that peach trees need to be sprayed like 4 times a year to get good peaches out of them. That pretty much made me not want to grow peaches ever again. I was really bummed about that, and I will stick to fruit trees that don't need as much work. Really, there are no benefits. I'm saying strictly from if you want to kill all the bugs, then it's good. But bugs are also good for your garden too. So if you really look at it, you should have them. You might be able to raise them organically, but I just they seem too much trouble to be worth what space that they would take up. And you know, a lot of us have different opinions on like what to grow and how to grow it, right? So because I have such a small area and like it's hard to grow fruit trees because I'm pretty tight. So, you know, something that's going to take more attention and more time for me to work on with my schedule and all that other stuff also. It doesn't make the cut in my garden because I don't have time to put into having a good peach tree to get a good harvest off of it. I'd rather plant something like a pear tree that I don't have to do anything with, or maybe some kind of culm or apple that might take a little less, of my time to worry about. Uh, Even something maybe like a quince tree that might give me some benefits in other areas. So that's stuff I do. I've just been changing up my approach as I learn more about all this. Well, thank you, Heirloom Permaculture. So I like learning from guys like him. They know a lot more, and I take a lot of stuff from that permaculture. I don't have time to like study it the way I would like to do it, but permaculture teach a lot of really good stuff. And just like watching you guys is mostly where I get a lot of my good information. And like I've learned a lot of different things about learning what you would really want and what's more beneficial for you to have than not like I don't want to put time into stuff. I'm just not gonna. I don't like putting the time into stuff that is not going to reward me as easily and steadily as other things might. So I got those elderberries that I got from Papa Pepper propagating right now, and I'm going to have pretty much a row of those now in my backyard because he sent us 5 of them, and I put them in pots, and they all are doing fairly well as of right now. So I'll probably have a row of those, and I'm thinking that those will probably not take as much work and requirements. So I'm happy about that. Yes, UT 33200 there. Our yards are definitely as unique as our fingerprints, and that's pretty awesome. Like that's one of the cool things I like about coming out here and seeing other people's gardens is that they you learn like what works for some people in different areas just doesn't work for you. But like to see different things happen, and then you kind of get different ideas of like, oh, maybe I can plant this with that or that over here, as opposed to the way that you originally had it. How do I become one of those bearded brothers? Do I even count as a bearded brother? You guys can't even tell. I have a beard, everyone. Hormone therapy. You're just gonna shave your beard at 1,000 followers? That doesn't sound right. Stevers, you got to grow a beard. I think it's the thing to do. It makes you fit in more. Makes you more rugged looking. The people believe you more that you're a homesteader if you have a beard. Major Impact Farm. Hey, fellow Michigander. I shaved my beard one time, like a few years ago, because I lost a bet, a bet on a Lions game. I know, lifelong Lions fan. I should have known better, but I had to shave my beard because I lost the bet. And my daughter freaked out. She did not like it. That's the first time she's ever seen me without a beard. Homesteader. Hey, your husband's got to have one. I mean, he's the one who normally can grow it. Yes, is that Stevers or Stevers? How do you say that? That's a good question, Karen. I've wondered that myself. I've always feel like I'm saying it wrong. How not to display emotions. That's funny. It's Stevers. Okay. I've been saying it right then. Yeah. Yeah, kids will freak out, man. They have no idea. They have no idea there's faces under there. Okay, so I told a funny story at the beginning of this, and I'm going to tell another funny story. So my son, he's kind of got a little bit of a dimple in his chin, and we were talking about it one day, and I was like, "That's really weird. Like, where did he get that from?" And my wife's like, "You have one," and I'm like, "What?" And then she showed me this picture of me from like high school uh, with no beard, and I have a dimple in my chin. I have a butt chin, and I had, I guess, forgotten I had one. I mean, I hadn't shaved, like fully shaved, in since high school. So it's been like a long time. I don't want to say, what is it, 14, 15 years? And yeah, I had no idea that I had a cleft in my chin at all. No idea. But I also have a terrible memory. So Yeah, check out UT. UT's awesome. But apparently there's a lot of butt chins in here. That's good to know. Elf Lord, how you doing? Let's talk Kill Bill. Okay, so one of the very first dates ever with my wife, my now wife, then girlfriend, or then date, I don't know what you call it. So I had she came over to my house one time and I was like, hey, let's watch Kill Bill. And we watched Kill Bill 1, and then we watched Kill Bill 2 back to back, no bathroom breaks. And you know what? She did not crack too without any kind of breaks. Yeah, my beard's kind of painful beard, but I just can't get rid of it. I can't give up on it. Yeah, Kill Bill is like my absolute favorite movie of all time. I mean, Quentin Tarantino's like the best, but Kill Bill's the greatest of all the movies he's ever made. I just absolutely love that movie. Flora, how can you only see the first one? You missed the second half of the story. Oh, that end scene. Oh, and she always brings that up and lets me know that she sat through both those movies. Yeah, I can get the short attention spans. Kill Bill's great. I can watch it all the time. Like if it's on TV, sometimes I'll just find myself wasting the next 3 hours of my life. Yes, the entire movie is great. Kill Bill is amazing. If you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Oh, what's going on? He must be the hotel Wi-Fi. Oh no. I didn't know people were buffering. Buffering? That's some BS. It could be this hotel. I mean, they're not really known for their reliable internets. It's hard to tell. It's got three Wi-Fi bars, guys. That's good. Yeah, it's probably getting to the point now where a lot of people are jumping on here too because they're all getting off of work and stuff. All right, so we're still talking Kill Bill then, right? See you later, Humphrey. Family Homestead. See you later, Almost Homestead. So yeah, Kill Bill. If they ever make the story of the girl coming back 10 years later, her revenge, totally down for that. I am pumped and I hope it happens. I remember like everything about Elf Lord's or Kill Bill Elf Lord, and I have the worst memory ever. That's how much I love it. Absolutely love that movie. In fact, I might watch this. I'll fall asleep like shortly into it, but because all my mods are still hanging in there. You guys are all troopers. If any of you haven't watched any of them, you should go check them out. They're awesome people, all of them. Kung Fu Hustle. I feel like I know that one. Isn't that kind of a spoofy kind of movie? I like kung fu movies a lot too. Really into like old kung fu. One of my favorites is Street Fighter. No, yeah, the Street Fighter. Sony Chiba. Anybody into Sony Chiba at all? He's in Kill Bill. All right. 5 Citystead points to the person who can tell me who Sony Chiba is in Kill Bill. And your points are good for, I don't know yet. Nobody. Nobody knows it. Nobody knows it. Her teacher was definitely David Carradine. Nope, that wasn't Sony Chiba. That was another old kung fu actor, though, who was somewhat famous. Come on, Elkin Anchor. I thought you would know this. Man, kind of disappointed. Oh, man. Back somewhat. All right. Seen this much fun. Did it do the dial up when I came online? Oh no, that's a terrible nickname. Come on. The sword maker. That is Sony Chiba. Yes, that was 56K. That must be what this hotel's working with. The Garden Slayer. Hey, actually, that's kind of cool. Buffy the Garden Slayer. Yes, it was definitely the sword maker. Hanzo makes the sword. The last sword he ever makes. And he is Sony Chiba. Not good for YouTube lives. That is, I should go down and talk to the general manager. Pharmacy seed greenhouse is pretty much in the same state it was before. I haven't insulated anything. I haven't put in the heat sink. I'm going to do a heat sink in there. You guys all talked me into it. I got a barrel. Actually got 2 barrels. So one of them I have to paint black. I'm going to paint it black, fill them with water, and put them in there. And I'm also thinking about doing a, man, what's it called? The air heater. You know, you build a little box outside with the vent at the bottom, comes up, solar air heater. Thinking about doing like a solar air heater to also be able to bring more heat in there to help heat sinks up, and how that goes and how. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really think I was going to be able to grow anything in there in January, but for fun, I wanted to try it. So I mean, it was just a lot of fun messing around with it and just having something to like do over the winter. Yeah, Old Camp has a ton of barrels, and that's actually the one who really talked me into it. But yeah, I think with the solar air heater, it also would get warm during the day. So if I get time, I want to do that pretty soon before it's already just summer. Yes, She Moved Mountains. I dreamed of a greenhouse for a long time, and then I saw the cattle panel greenhouse, and I was like, I think I can totally build that. And it was pretty easy to do. And it didn't cost a lot, really. The panels are the most expensive part. I had a lot of wood kind of laying around from other various projects that I used. So, yeah, I need to get some seeds started. Yeah, I just like for fun wanted to put some seeds out there and see if they would be able to germinate in just the greenhouse. But then after we had that polar vortex that just drug everything down like crazy, yeah, yeah, I didn't think it was going to happen for sure after that. And now I'm just going to leave them out there, and we'll see when they germinate and how early I can actually get things to germinate in the greenhouse the way it is. So I want to insulate the ends of it, and then also put some insulation like toward the bottom. Yeah, I like what Stevers did with theirs, how they raised it up a little bit. I don't have a ton of room, so I wasn't going wide with it at all. It's only like 8 foot wide, and when I put the panel over it, I nailed it to the top of the 2x6s that I use. So I have a 2x6 at the bottom, and then the panels on top of that. So that added like 12 inches with the arch of the cattle panel. And for me, that is totally easy to walk under and like the perfect height to. See you later, Elkin Anchor. Yeah, greenhouse videos probably get a ton of views, I'm sure. And your guys' greenhouse is pretty legit. Yeah, so yeah, I really like what Stevers did, how they raised it up a lot more, because they could. If I would have done that, I probably could have done wider and got myself some more greenhouse space. But after watching like a little bit more of this winter, I think what I'm going to do is build another different style greenhouse on the one side of my property, because if I build it over on this side of the property, the sun kind of goes up like this throughout the day. And I'm thinking if I have a solid back wall on it and some kind of like lean-to type greenhouse, that it'll collect a lot of that sun as it's going over through the day. So I think that's going to be one of my projects that I try to get done this year. I don't know if it'll actually get done or if I'll just be dreaming about it. But another type of greenhouse would be great to have out in my backyard. Really do a lot more seed starting, or if I ever get the chance to, that would make a really good like rabbit colony thing, kind of like what Mama Grows has. If you guys have ever seen her channel and her little rabbit setup, I really, really like the way that her rabbit setup is. And I'm thinking that's what I could build, is basically a lean-to type greenhouse. And that would help keep the rabbits warm during those winter months. Sunshine Farms, you need to do a greenhouse video. We'll probably get a lot of video. Sunshine Farms, I don't know what you do, but man, you guys must really know how to do some SEO stuff there, because you guys grow like crazy. I mean, you make really good videos, but I feel like there's more to it. Like you're doing something else that you got like a little secret back there you're doing. 90 in your greenhouse yesterday, huh? That's like my dream. Yeah, we need to chat. We need to talk. I need to learn some things. Yeah, Mama Grows, I really enjoy Mama Grows' channel, and she's like an urban homesteader like me. So those are always like the channels I kind of gravitate toward. Finding like good ones it's hard sometimes, because there's a lot of people who do a lot, and there's a lot of people who are just doing little things. And like I got the garden. I'm pretty proficient on my garden. It's the other things that I want to learn to do, and raising meat is one of them. So I'm always trying to find good sources of like urban homesteaders who do meat. And Mama Grows is one of those. She has a lot of stuff she does. And she made a video a while back about butchering her and one of her rabbits in her backyard. She's got it like hanging there. And she's like, you got to think about this when you live in the city about where you're going to butcher. And then she's like, that neighbor, that neighbor, that neighbor, and that neighbor, yep, they can all see me right now. That just cracked me up. You're a homesteader, Sunshine Farm. That is the cool kids club. Oh, you got a lot of windows, Heberts, huh? Heberts. That's pretty sweet. Yeah, those windows, the old window greenhouses, those things are awesome. I really love those. I wish I would have like got a bunch of windows. That would have been sweet. Okay, Butcher BBQM. That's way easier to say. How, like, do you live in the city? I thought you guys had like maybe like a small like acre kind of like out country kind of subdivision. I didn't know you were like actually in the city. Oh, sorry, we're talking about meat now. Sorry, Sunshine Farm. I'm a meat eater. Ah, you did live in the city. Okay. Oh yeah. See, that's what I thought. I thought you had some acreage there. I'm retired and on YouTube too much. Alpha Lords, I'm on YouTube a lot also. Sometimes during the day, my job is basically just like on-site IT support, and I just wait for something to break. So I watch a lot of YouTube at work. Yeah, it's amazing like how much YouTube I can put out. Sometimes I look at my phone and I go, "Wow, I've watched that much YouTube today." And then I think that's really good. That means I did my job so good that I don't have to get up from my chair and fix anything. BBQM, you're awesome. I don't ask anything. I just do. I guess I am going to see some watch time. Learning while earning. Yeah, that's a good. I like that. Yeah, I've edited a lot of videos at work myself also. So like Sunshine Farms was saying, earlier, man, it was like an hour ago in this live stream that she was wondering how I did all of it, being a dad and working and all this other stuff. And yeah, it was definitely from sometimes I get away with editing videos and stuff at work. So yeah, a lot of stuff. I always like to say I'm actually getting paid to YouTube, but I'm just not getting paid by YouTube. Someday your day. I hope being a parent. That is my dream job right there. If I could have one dream job, it would just being a dad. How do you just be a dad? Well, maybe you got a raise because they saw you doing all that extra work and they thought if we pay her more, she'll stop doing all that stuff on the side. Yeah, I was totally planning on talking about tomatoes the entire time, and here we are an hour and 20 minutes later, and we're talking about how we all goof off at our job and YouTube instead. All right, Stevers, we'll talk to you later. We definitely will talk to you later because we got to try to set something up since I'm in your neck of the woods. All right, Kira, get those kids to bed. Nutrition and biology. Hey, there was a lot of beard talk. Rock dust. Sunshine Farms, what do you do for a daytime job that you can goof around as much as I do? See you later, Heirloom Permaculture. Gotta be by work at 4:30. Woo-hoo. Mm. I've always wondered what those desk job people do. Now I know. Yeah, in the beginning of the projects, my job is like terrible because I'm just on my feet for up to 18 hours a day trying to get robots to work. But then once we get them working, My job is like easy street. I'm just kind of kicked back, relaxing, you know, waiting for something to break, and hopefully it never happens. Broussard, you're a fireman? That's pretty awesome. See you later, Major Impact. Yeah, I'm a robot, well, engineer. I didn't go to school, so people get mad when I say I'm an engineer because I don't have a certificate or anything. But I've been programming industrial robots for 11 years now, and I usually work like 80 hours a week. So I like to say that it's been 22 years. Oh, she moved mountains. You're back. Welcome back. Pharmacy seeds. Yeah, like, do you get a lot of crap about it? Yes, engineering is a lot about mindset. I imagine, Broussard, that is some dull work. I do know a couple firefighters, and they kind of just hang out a lot of the time waiting, kind of like I do. You're just waiting for something to happen. Like your job is in case of emergency. Yeah, I always get into like there's like a handful of people who really they give me a lot of and I mean I find it a lot with like younger people. If you don't have a degree, they like think that you're not smart, like you don't know what's going on. And I'm like, well, you just have a degree. I've been doing this for 11 years, working 80 hours a week. Like I've seen all the situations that you haven't even seen yet. So there's something to be said about it. I mean, I'm sure it's good to have a degree, but also there is a real world experience that makes a big difference in a lot of engineering type stuff. I tell you, it's a lot harder to like get farther along too as somebody who doesn't have a degree. Yeah, I know some people who I don't think she got a doctorate, but I know she got a master's degree because the company she worked for paid for it. That would be pretty cool to be able to have that deal. Yeah, I would be in debt too. Actually, I would be in debt and probably not have it because I'm not a book learner. I was not the college type person. I pretty much knew after like the first year of trying to go to college that it wasn't really something I was gonna do. Well, Sunshine Farms, you can become Sunshine Farm PhD, and that's pretty cool. Your employer is trapping you. It is a form of entrapment because if they pay for it, you have to be there the whole time they're paying it. And I don't know about you, but a lot of places make you sign a contract that says you'll be there however many years after you have it too. Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. Pharmacy seats. I really like a lot of technology, but like as far as like learning, like in a school, I'm not. That's not. It's just not for me, and it's not bad. Like it's for some people. It's just not really my thing. 11 years. Now that is a long time. That's like the Van Wilder, Page and Doctor Sunshine. Yeah. Yeah, so see, like that's the thing. Like they get you really good with that. But it's also good for you, right? Like you can go anywhere with that, and you whip out a doctorate degree, and you're gonna be all right. Food industry makes you jaded toward people. I think a lot of those service jobs make you jaded toward people. I don't know about any industry. I mean, I don't know. Now there's not as many people in here, I can read these comments a lot easier. Therapeutic horticulture and gardening it. I don't know why I got to this whole. I'm not very far off from being able to pay off my house, and as long as we don't buy anything else and just stay what we are, like I don't need to work as much, so I can do more. And if I can provide more of my own food, I can be home a lot with my family doing what I really want to do, which is just spending time with my family. Yeah, it's definitely hard to get debt free like nowadays. Like our system's based on credit. Like it's it's funny because they want you to have all this credit so you can get credit, and then if you pay off the credit, they're like shoot your scores down, and they're like, oh no, you can't get anything because you don't have enough credit, even though you have no debt. It's like pretty crazy. Yeah, that's a good idea, Sunshine Farm. We do that a little bit. It's always hard. I planned a lot more retirement. I'm like what you call retirement rich. Uh, so now we are shifting gears a little bit and paying off some of the other stuff and getting more liquid rich. Morgan. Well, maybe whip some of those high school kids into shape then. They need it. I am in my mid 30s. My wife is in her early 30s. My goal is to have our house paid off by the time I'm 40, because I always have this plan that I'm going to get out of the business that I'm in by the time I'm 50. Because I know a lot of guys who are like 50 and older in this business and they travel a lot like I do now, and they are miserable old people, and I don't want to be that. We we're only getting close to having our house paid off because we got super lucky and bought our house in '09. BG Nano, that is totally. I wish my parents would let me move back in. I would rent my house out. That would be pretty crazy, but I mean, if you do it, you probably do it. Yeah, that's it's such a shame, Grandma. So that's a shame. That really bums me out. That bums me out. Like that's I don't know. Well, Morgan, see, they're if you call them entitlement generation and you don't give the time to put back into them, they'll never change and they'll never be any different. And a lot of the times, and I'm just saying, I had this conversation one time with a guy at work. He was complaining about his teenagers, his early 20, late teenager kids, about how lazy and blah 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 they were. And he said that it was because they were millennials and blah blah blah. And I made a comment to him. I said, "But you did raise them, right?" And that guy did not talk to me for the next 4 months. But I think I had a good point there. Is that you can't complain about them if you're not going to help and guide them along the way as much. Hey, oh, how happy gardener. How you doing? The whole generation shaming thing drives me nuts because every generation dislikes the next generation. And it's been happening for many generations. Everyone thinks the next generation is lazy and unfit to be around. Yeah, I can't. The generation thing always drives me nuts, and I have so many heated conversations about it because I'm like, you know what, the generation that raised you all they could say was how lazy they thought you were. Like, there's a lot of people who are under 30 years old right now that are retired because they figured stuff out, and then we're all here like plugging along, going, "This is how you do it." Oh, how happy gardener! I don't know if I'm a millennial or not. I'm like in that weird middle ground. See, Grandma So's, I think that's a generation change. There's a different generation happening, and we're stressing more on being able to pay things off early and not getting into a bunch of debt. See, you say that, Morgan, but I don't know. I feel like every generation just says that about the next one. Sunshine Farms, yeah, you guys are pretty young. Things are a little more expensive, but you can still make it work. When you're 40 years old. So it goes back because when I was younger, I kind of felt like I was old. So when you get older, do you start feeling younger again? That's perfect. I like it. I'm 35. If you're asking me, PJ Nano Farm. Do I feel it's cheap to live in Michigan? Probably where I live, it's probably pretty cheap compared to a lot of places. I think you're in Minnesota. Now, I have this thing because I travel around the country a lot for work, and I get to see a lot of different like real estate and like prices and stuff like that. And if you're anywhere near the Twin Cities, I can tell you that it's way more expensive to live in that area than it is to live in the area of Michigan that I'm in. Younger, I feel like I'm like the perfect middle age. I'm not a millennial. I'm like right on the edge. I'm a non generation defined or whatever. UT, you're back. She's 35. See, that's a good age. Oh, you live in Minnesota too, Grandma So? Yeah, I went to the Twin Cities and I was pretty blown away by how expensive it was over in that area. I haven't been many other places in Minnesota, but from what I've seen, a lot of it would seem like a lot of the places were pretty expensive. Yeah, you're probably the youngest at 21. And that's awesome that you found a homestead at such a young age. That's pretty cool. When we made that About Us video and my wife was like going to say how old she was, I'm like, are you going to tell people how old you are? I thought women didn't do that. Oh, yeah. New York's crazy. What do you guys got? Like 9% sales tax? Oh, even like Buffalo, which is, I mean, not a very nice area, was pretty expensive. I couldn't believe it. There are different areas that are a lot different in price to live. But your BBQM, I forgot, where did you guys say you lived? No sales tax. There's not very many states with that. Holy cow! You guys spend 10,000 a year on property tax. You would have to work a full-time job just to pay that, even if you were retired. Holy cow! Man, that is crazy. See, I know our state has one of the lowest sales tax, which makes a difference, really. Oregon, okay. Yeah, I can see them not having any kind of sales tax. I'm not saying anything bad about Oregon. I'm just saying it's out there. Probably not a lot of people there. Yeah, I couldn't imagine living in New York. I mean, I'm also very skewed about like prices of things because like I said, we bought our house in 2009, so the market here all the way at the bottom. And so we bought our house and like we look at houses now, we're like, could we move? And we'll like look at a price of a house and it'll be like a house similar to ours and it'll be like 130,000 and we're like, holy cow, like how can they want that much for it? So it's kind of crazy like our like what we would be willing to pay to actually live other places is like it's pretty skewed because we bought our house in the bottom of a market. 40,000 an acre. Man, that's crazy. You should move to Maine. Morgan's always talking, or Vermont. Morgan's always talking about it. It's cheap up there. You can buy all sorts of land. Or Yell County. You can live next to Bobblehead. He paid like what, 5,000 an acre or something? He got his land for really cheap. Yell County, what is it, Alabama, Arkansas? Yeah, New Jersey's probably pretty bad. Boy, lives are pretty fun. Now we're talking about property tax and property prices. Mid 200s. Yeah, see, like I feel like that's crazy. Like I don't know if I would pay that. But like I said, I'm also very skewed about how much it costs. All right, guys, I've had too many of these. I have to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Oh my goodness, you guys are still here. That's crazy. I'll tell you what, this is a much better way of wasting my time sitting here. UT, where are you from? Oh, no, wait, I got your address right here. Utah. You guys got some really pretty scenery out there, man. My wife watches one of those family vlogs. Well, actually, she watches a few of them, and they're out there in the mountains and stuff. It's pretty nice. Yeah, Renton has its perks there, pharmacy seed. My live peace tree. I feel bad. It's a hotel room, and you might not be able to hear me. Good thing I have a door over there. Kentucky, 4 to 6K an acre. That's not bad. That's pretty good. Long spring, short winter, low taxes. Yell County. You want to move to Yell County? You want to be Bobblehead's neighbor? He's not too far from Roots and Refuge. I'm in Kentucky right now, guys. It's not bad. I mean, I've only been here a couple days, but yeah, natural disasters, Sunshine Farms. Good luck finding that. I always say Michigan, we're like one of the safest states there could be. There are not or animals that can kill you. There are no tornadoes, there's no hurricanes, there's no sharks in the water, there's no landslides. Like we are one of the safest states there is. Nothing really terrible ever happens here. Once in a while, a tornado might touch down for like a second. You were supposed to leave for work an hour ago. Now you are going to be late. Very late. Good luck explaining that to your boss. So I was on YouTube watching this guy talk while he drank beer. I love Michigan. I've been all over, and I don't think I would ever move anywhere. There's been a few places, but for the most part, I like Michigan. Oregon. You know why the Howlers didn't choose Michigan? I'm going to tell you right now. Because if I could choose to live by me or Justin Rhodes, I would live by Justin Rhodes. I'm in the thumb. I'm like at the base of the thumb. See, there's no way that Rhodes. Justin Rhodes is the only reason I want to do this. Before I found Justin Rhodes on YouTube, so you all know. Oh, how happy Gardner. Good luck getting those kids to bed. Oregon's your second home state, huh? So you're out there by the BVQM. That's gonna stick. The Justin Rhodes of the North. That is pretty funny. I was Justin Rhodes for how? Well, he gets up at 4:30. Well, I'll be up at 4. Justin does have a very soothing voice. It's very easy to listen to him. I always think that when I talk on camera, I'm like, God, man, my voice is kind of annoying. If I had a better voice, I'm trying to think who I wish. Like Daryl from Two Family Homestead, he's got a really good like radio voice. I don't know. What do you barbecue? I mean, it's butcher, baker, queso. Do you bake barbecues maybe? Good night, Sunshine Farm. Thanks for modding for all you have for this time. So I'm from the north, and my wife is from the south. She's from Georgia, and I always say things like, "Oh, we're gonna barbecue," and she's like, "What are you gonna barbecue?" And I'm like, "Burgers and brats," and she got mad because I know the difference now, but I didn't know the difference before. So if you're in the north, you can't call it barbecue unless barbecue sauce is involved. If you're from Georgia, barbecue is always barbecue sauce involved. So that's something good to know. Dr. Shane. Yeah, my wife is because you're close to the southern part of Georgia. She's from St. Mary's. It is a true story. See, I never knew this because we always call it barbecue. If we're going to do anything on a grill, it's just barbecue. We're barbecuing this. But yeah, that is definitely a no-no. You lived in Georgia for 6 years? There you go. See, you know the difference then. You can only barbecue if you're using barbecue sauce. Otherwise, you're grilling. So now I always have to remind myself that I'm grilling, I'm not barbecuing. Oh, man. Oh, you're really wow. Well, Morgan, if I ever go down there, maybe I'll come visit your farm. How is my kombucha? My kombucha. Funny you should say that. So my first batch did not go very well. I made vinegar. So I have another one going, and I was starting it, and the wife goes, I don't know why you're starting that. You know what's going to happen. I said, what's going to happen? She goes, you're going to go out of town right when it's time to do it. And I'm currently sitting in a hotel room, and I should be doing second brew on kombucha. So I don't know how that's going to go, how it's going to be when I get back or not. We'll find out. Actually, I have a video I made that's kind of funny about it that I'll probably be posting up next week. I have found that I am not very good at this whole kombucha making. What is cambutt? There's so much fermenting stuff that I have no idea about. You got me like wanting to Google it, but I I have tasted some kombucha. What is water kefir? There are so many things. I actually just watched She Moved Mountains kombucha video, the hotel one, I think earlier today. Grandma's so happy you know She Moves Mountains. Are you guys related or something? Kimchi right now. Favorite fruit. It's kind of a soda and low sugar. Whoa, it's like a soda? That's kind of cool. You feed them sugar. Ah, that's pretty cool. How about that? I did not know that. I need some of that Angry Orchard. I'm actually out. I'm officially out of Angry Orchard. I only bought a couple of them. There's so much stuff I have to learn. Like I've never really done much when it comes to fermenting, but there are some really cool recipes and stuff out there. It's just stuff that sounds cool. BBQM. I'm gonna be checking that out. I like hot stuff. I just recently like got into hot stuff. I wasn't really before, but like in the past few years, I've been pretty into hot. I grow a lot of hot peppers and stuff now, which I never did before. Your oldest is 40. Wow, that's a good spread. That is a good spread. Fermented Asian food. Oh yeah, hot stuff like it's amazing like what the right heat can do to things. Yeah, so Papa Pepper sent me some of those ghost peppers and I opened the thing and I was handling them and I didn't put gloves on. And that was kind of like my mistake. I should have put gloves on before I handled those. But I could taste the flavor on my fingers the rest of the day. But it was crazy because it wasn't like a make you sweat kind of hot, but it had like this really hot flavor to them. And so I'm really looking forward to doing something with those ghost peppers because from what I tasted on just my fingers throughout the day, They were awesome. Oh yeah, chili chocolate. There's a chili chocolate bar, and that's like one of my favorite chocolate bars to get. Yeah, that's the one thing about fermenting. It seems like you can do it and then kind of let it sit, and I like that idea of less work, but also preserving your food. Half Thai. That's interesting. I did not know that, PJ. PG, sorry. So ever since we made that video, and I was like PG Nano Farm, and then my boy goes PJ Mask, PJ Mask. I can. My wife even pointed it out that the rest of the video, I actually called you PJ Nano Farm, and I was just like cracking up because I watched it, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did. Now here I am still calling you P. Nano. I love jalapenos. I pickled a bunch of jalapenos, and they're so good. I noticed I do the same. I had no idea. Of course, I also made an entire video about kombucha, and I called it kombacha the entire video. So, I mean, no surprise there on my part, I guess. Yeah, I pickled jalapenos. That's like one of my favorite things that I got. I love it, and I only did it because I made those dilly beans, which I had never had until I made them myself. And dilly beans rock, and then you throw a jalapeno in with them, and they're like awesome. Mama Grows, hey, I mentioned you earlier. Yeah, the heat of the jalapeno is like really good. I like that. Yeah, but then like last year, I just ended up throwing a bunch of jalapenos into a jar with pickles, and I'm like, yep, I'm just gonna pickle a bunch of jalapenos, and I've been eating a ton of them. Of course, I said good things, Mama Grows. I was talking about your rabbit colony and how much I love it, and I want to build something similar on my property. You got like one of my favorite like rabbit setups there is, especially like for us city dwellers. I mean, Willow, what is it? Willow Creek Homestead. They have like the big rabbit colony, and I mean that's pretty sweet. But Mama Grows, you have my second favorite rabbit colony. Yeah, those dilly beans with the jalapeno dropped in them. Oh man, those are like the best. The best. I had never had dilly beans until just a couple years ago, and it's like one of the things that I look forward to canning every single year. See, I don't make a ton of salsa. The only salsa I make is that verde, salsa verde. Not UT. Yeah, if you guys don't know UT, go back go check him out. He sent me all those sweet tomato seeds. Looking forward to those, man. Looking forward to them. See, you're not familiar with dilly beans either, and I've noticed though that you can buy them on the in some stores. There's not like a huge variety of them, but once in a while there's a couple jars of dilly beans in the store. But I never bought them from the store. I got those ones I canned. We canned a whole bunch of them. Yeah, it depends on what it is. Like I don't tomato salsa. We're not into the verde one we like, but we don't necessarily like the like a regular salsa. We do more of the tomato soup and stuff of our tomatoes. Night, Morgan. Good luck with your studying. Yes, verde with tomatillos, tomatillos. Yes, Mama Girls, that is my jam, man. We make so much salsa verde that it's pretty crazy. I was talking earlier about how those tomatillos that I grew them like 4 years ago, and it is the biggest weed that my entire yard has. I have to pull them out because there's so many of them that grow. Yeah, exactly. They're all over my yard. They're like in the middle of the yard. I go out there and just pull them out. They're just weeds. It's the biggest weed I have, but they're awesome. We really like those. And the fact that they self-sow is kind of cool. Like if you had a good contained area or like a big area for them, but like I don't. So interested in a salsa verde? I could make a salsa verde video. I have not tried a purple tomatillo, but I really want to. I did get from MI Gardner. What did I get? The pineapple one, Mama Grows. I got this pineapple one. So I'm looking forward to trying that because I like the pineapple tomatoes, the regular ones. So I bought pineapple tomatillos, and I'm pretty pumped about trying those out and seeing how they are. But yeah, I want to get purple ones also. That's on my list. Yeah, like I only knew about the green ones. I didn't know there was like different colors you could get until I was on MI Gardner's website and I saw them, and I was like, "Yep, I got to buy those now." I got to have two different kinds of weeds. I told the story about how I took a pot full of them. I pulled a bunch of the weeds out and I threw them down in the ground. And I took them over to my brother's house and I was laughing when I gave him the pot of all these tomatillos because I knew they were just going to be all over the place in his yard. And I was like, "Good luck." Yeah, pineapple anything tomato wise is like my favorite. There's the pineapple tomatoes and great white tomatoes, which I think are pretty similar. I've grown great whites before. They have like a tropical type undertone in the flavor of them. And then the pineapple tomato themselves have like that color, and they also have like that kind of more tropical like flavor. So yeah, these are like two of my absolute favorite tomatoes right here. I love that flavor on the tomato. It's just awesome. Berry in a box. Oh, are you talking about pine berries? Yeah, Mama Grows is awesome. I love her channel. And she can do some really good cartwheels. Yeah, that berry is was that the pine berry? Because I got some pine berries and I've been waiting to get some, but usually the squirrels get them before I can. So I got them fenced in now in like a big cage for them. That's I'm really really looking forward to those pine berries. They're just like a white strawberry, but they're supposed to have like that tropical type. I think they describe it as pineapple if I'm not mistaken, but usually when they say pineapple, they just mean some kind of like a citrusy tropical type flavor. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but yeah, pineapple isn't always pineapple and these other fruits, but it's more of that citrus type, tropical type flavor, which is awesome. I really like that flavor. And since I live in the north and I can't grow like bananas and cool stuff, I have to grow anything that has a tropical undertone in it. I'm not exactly sure where the Pratt family is, but I have watched them a few times. I don't really know whereabouts that they're located. I am like a 6A, 6B zone, but like all around me is like 5B. I'm like in a weird zone. The Great Lakes do a lot of weird things to our state where there's different like growing pockets. So we're in like one of the warmer pockets. We can grow a little bit different stuff. I grow a lot of well, I try to grow a lot of zone 7 stuff to really push my boundary. Like I have a jujube tree and I grew passion fruit last year. I want to do some more stuff of trying to grow like zone 7 type fruit trees mostly, but I'm probably not going to that get together that the Pratt family's having because I'll probably be at work. See, yeah, I have never really started things outside of like in the ground or early in the year. And because I'm usually out of town like at the beginning of the year, I don't have a lot of time to do like sowing seeds and all that. So I want to try to grow some tomatoes early, and I'll probably be planting them in the next couple of weeks. But usually, if tomatoes are something I buy from like my local greenhouse, and then I transplant them around Mother's Day. So that's when I go buy them. It's around Mother's Day time, and then I put them in the ground. And we don't normally get our tomatoes until September, so I want to start them early this year. I bought a heating mat and I bought a grow light. So I think I'm going to try to grow some tomatoes early to put them in the ground to try to get tomatoes in like August of this year. I think that would be pretty cool. But usually I do a lot of sowing my seeds directly in ground, and that usually happens around Mother's Day. Somerset. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's probably a little ways from me, I would think. So the Pratts are almost 2 hours from where I live. Be pretty cool to meet those guys. I like them. Really, my ultimate goal would be to go over and meet M.I. Gardner because he's only like 40 minutes from me. He's like literally right down the highway. But every time they're at an event or something, I'm out of town for work and I always miss it. Ooh, all right. Mama Grows, I am a robot programmer, robotics engineer. I do a lot of industrial, well, mostly industrial robots. So like wherever plants are putting in new lines or changing work to robots, that's where I go. I don't know if it's super smart stuff, but yeah, I'm really impressed by Mi Gardner. I wish at his age that I had the drive and of knowing what I wanted to do at that point in time in life. I think that would have been quite the awesome thing to have. I feel like I got more into later life before I really kind of knew where I was going or anything. We were talking earlier about engineers, Mama Grows, about how I don't have an engineering degree, but I get to call myself an engineer. She moved mountains. That's pretty cool. I really, really enjoy robotics, but the travel is what really hurts me. Especially, I got those three little kids at home, and it gets harder and harder and harder to leave, for any amount of time. So I'm not passionate about robots. I'm passionate about being a dad. Hey, Daybird Aviaries, how you doing, Robert? Yeah, I'm passionate about being a dad. So I'm trying to figure out a way to make money off of just being a dad. I don't know how that works though. But yeah, if I could just stay home and still be able to pay bills, that's what I would do. Just hang out with my kids. But I'm the income earner of my family, so I do what I do to be able to pay all the bills, and that's pretty much it. I wouldn't say I love it. I mean, I like it. I really enjoy my job, but I would change it if I could. I don't know. I mean, I mean, being a dad is literally something I wanted to do since I was like young, like in high school. Like I knew like most people are like, oh, I'm gonna be a baseball player, blah blah. I was like, I just want to be a dad. Like that's the thing I wanted to do. And then like we waited, to make sure that we were ready for everything. Hey, Serena. And yeah, then I got to be a dad. But you got to pay for all those bills, so I got to do what I got to do to pay the bills. It's definitely a roller coaster, but yeah, that's something I love. I love it. Yeah, I don't know about daddy vlog. I don't like I see people who do like daily vlogs and I don't know how they do it. And I don't know if I'm that interested in to be able to do a to do a daddy vlog vlogging every day to do it. Man, who knows? Maybe one day. Josh Murray, how you doing? Well, like new people hopping in all of a sudden. Holy cow! I must have missed something out. Was there another live stream that ended? I've been on for a long time now. All right. Yeah, that's gonna get out of here. Oh, it's getting late. The crazies are out. Yeah, PJ farmers. I like having them in the videos, but like with all this stuff on YouTube now, it's kind of crazy. Like I don't know how you how I don't know how to do it anymore because like there's like all these things happening right now, the comments and although we're not monetized, so YouTube doesn't really care about us. That's how it really works. If I could talk, yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. You watch 3 hours of my videos? Holy cow! Is that what you did? You can't eat the grass? Because I know a lot of that stuff's going on, right? But like, so yeah, it seems to me like YouTube, they care about the people who are making ad money because that's where the ads are coming from, right? But all of the channels that aren't making money off, that they're not making any money off of, then they're completely fine with our videos of our kids having comments on them. So like, I like how their YouTube is putting on this facade of being for the kids, but really it's just for the advertisers. So I think that's kind of interesting how that works. Rent to grown, how you guys doing? Midwest, yeah, up in the Midwest. What are you guys in Minnesota? I can't remember where you guys are now. Trying to remember where everybody's at all the time. I know Mama Grows. They definitely do. Like every time you think you're like, oh, I'm gonna get somewhere with it, and then the new rules come out and well, Northwest Indiana. Hey, you're not that far, really. You are not that far from us. I only say that because I drive so much that within 4 hours seems pretty close to me all the time. I had to put so Serena's husband sent me a picture the other day of that their temperature up there was like minus 39 degrees, and that was when we were having our bomb cyclone, which was followed by like 20-degree days. And he sent me a picture of it saying minus 39. He goes, "We just call it Monday." Is my wife into homesteading as much as I am? She's into eating fresh vegetables and all that good stuff. Yes. As far as raising animals and stuff, I don't know if she's as much on. I would say she would be on board if I could be home and help take care of it all. But because like I leave and then she has the three kids to take care of all by herself, that add in animals and stuff to that is just a lot, and it's a lot for me to like expect her to take on also by herself, so that's like the biggest thing. That's why it's mostly just garden stuff because I can walk away from the garden and it's not a big deal. You just go out there, she can pick stuff while I'm gone, and But yeah, as far as into the homesteading, I would say she's into it. Size of my plugs. I don't remember. I haven't changed them in a very long time. I believe they were 9/16. I think that's what they are. But yeah, I have not changed my plugs in like 4 or 5 years. So I forget what size they really are. The crazy animal lady. Yeah. So it's PJ and Animal Farm. Your husband travels some for work or is out of town a lot. Yeah, I can't, and it's you make you make the talk about how you're gonna do it, right? That too. Is it not as cold where you are, Serena? It's gotta be, it's cold. Yeah, if I could be home more and I didn't have to ever worry about like getting called out of town, I think we would probably have some animals. But until that happens, then you know, we have to do with what we can do. So I've actually kicked around the ideal of if I'm home for like the summer and I know I'm gonna be home for just the summertime, like maybe I would get like a batch of quail and raise it from young to meat age and then be able to take care of it because I think you can do that in about 10 weeks from research and stuff that I've done. Much warmer at -10. You guys are like one of my favorites. I love You Can't Eat the Grass. You guys are awesome. Yeah, definitely. If you both work full time, man, that's a lot of crazy stuff. The garden is a lot. It's a ton to take care of, and like I do a lot of the just outside garden labor stuff myself. My wife does a lot of the picking and canning and cooking stuff. So we divide up, I guess, divide up parts of what you do. I know it's not a joke. -10 is a lot warmer than -40. Farmer in our backyard. How you guys doing? Oh, everybody's hopping on now. Look at that. I was thinking I was gonna get off of here. Now there's a bunch more people coming in. So, how are you all doing? I'm in a hotel, so I can talk all night. Yeah, I really want to get into raisin protein. That's something I really want to do, but just not in the books yet for us. You missed all the tomatoes. We talked about tomatoes hours ago. We can talk about it more. You probably have like a million tomato seeds. So, what are your favorite tomatoes? Mama grows. I am definitely. I have bees. I actually have a hive at my house. I got all the stuff for it, so I got to put it together, and then I'm probably gonna get bees for my brother because he's been a beekeeper for a couple of years. So yeah, so I think bees are definitely gonna happen. A couple hundred tomatoes. So bees are happening. The biggest thing with the bees right now is that we are thinking about. So my parents have a bunch of property, right? They have like 85 acres, and they really want to get into beekeeping too. And what we're thinking about is, do we set up our hive on our property and start keeping bees, or do we set it up over there and then help them establish a larger bee area, like an apiary area? So we're kind of like debating whether or not, we should do it that way or if we should just set up our own hive on our own property, being that we have two options. So we got to pick what to do with our hive that we have. Ripe tomatoes. I love all tomatoes also. I could eat so many tomatoes. In fact, for dinner in the summer, sometimes I would literally just chop up some tomatoes and eat them. My parents are 15 minutes away from me. So it's not a far drive. I can get over there pretty easy on a regular basis. And like if one of them's there, they can watch the kids, or the whole family can go over there. We can all do it together. Yeah, it's not bad. Like, and just the amount of space they have. Now, I don't have bees yet. We're gonna do them this year. It's just in both places. Yeah, I would like to do it in both places, but I only have the one stuff. I only have stuff right now to start one, so I got to pick a spot, one or the other, to start with. All right, I'm actually going to head out of here because I am hungry. I got to eat some dinner. I haven't eaten since lunch. So I thank all of you for coming and hanging out with me, and maybe we'll possibly do this again. So I'm out of here. See you guys later.